Hi everyone, my name is Caris. Welcome to my corner of the internet where I talk about books and other things that I enjoy, and welcome to another overly ambitious TBR. All the books that I want to read in June. I honestly have no sense of how June is going to go in terms of reading for me. I am feeling very optimistic and like I could potentially smash it and it could be my best reading month ever. I do have a week where I'm going on holiday this month, and I think that's why I think I'm just gonna get so much read then. But then on the other hand, I am also going to be a lot busier in June doing other social things now that we can go out and do a few more things, and also I'm going to be busier at work. So I just don't know. I feel like that was a really long intro, so I am going to get into the books in just a second. But before I begin, I just wanted to say here that I am currently running 2 giveaways to celebrate hitting 2k subscribers. The first one is right here on YouTube. It's one of my most recent videos. I will leave it linked in the description and the cards. It's a Q&A where I announce how you can enter the YouTube giveaway, and then the second giveaway is on Twitter. It's my pinned tweet and the link to my Twitter is also in the description. You can enter one of them if you want, both of them, but I just thought I would say here. Now that that's all out of the way, I will just get on to the TBR. They're not really in any particular order, but I guess I'm going to start out with the 2 that I know that I'm definitely going to read this month. The first is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Tochikazu Kawaguchi. I am buddy reading this one with Emily from Emily Kathleen Reads, who also sent this to me. So thank you so much again, Emily, for sending it my way. I can't wait for our buddy read of this. It's a nice little short one, and we're planning on doing it over the course of 4 days, reading like one section of this a day. And all that I know about it is that it's set in a cafe and you can like time travel in the cafe. I don't really know too much else, but I'm very much looking forward to going into it without too much knowledge and just seeing what happens. This is also translated from the Japanese, and it's been quite a while since I read any Japanese fiction, so I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. The second book that I'm definitely going to read in June is for a book club that I'm taking part in, and that is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I've been wanting to read this for ages and almost picked it up a few months ago, but then I found out that it was going to be the book club pick for June for the book club that I take part in, and decided that I just wanted to hold off and wait until now. And I'm really glad that I did, because it also means that I've got this lovely paperback edition, which is definitely better for me in terms of like shelf space, because I have very limited shelves that can fit hardbacks onto them. So I'm glad that I waited for it to come out in paperback. I'm sure you know what this is about because it's been very popular, not just on BookTube but in general. But just briefly, all that I know about it is that it's about 2 sisters, actually they're twins, and they run away together when they're 16 years old, and then it follows their stories from there. The blurb says that one sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape, and the other sister secretly passes as white, and her husband knows nothing of her past. So I believe it's going to be a real exploration of identity, particularly in terms of race, but probably also in terms of class, communities, all that sort of thing. All topics that I'm really genuinely interested in learning and reading more about. And again, I've just heard such good things about this, so I think I'm really going to enjoy it. The next thing that I would just love to read in June is a trilogy. It feels just the perfect, fun, lovely thing to read at this time of year, with the sun shining, when I'm on the beach, maybe with a little drink next to me and some ice cream. If you haven't guessed what that is, it's the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. Each of these books follows a different sister, and they're all romances. I think they've all got their own sort of things going on in their life. There's also disability rep in Get a Life Chloe Brown. I believe Chloe Brown has a chronic illness. I'm not sure of like the details of it, but I've heard some really good things from Own Voices reviewers and readers about the representation in it. And I think Danny Brown has a bisexual main character. I think Danny Brown's bisexual, but I kind of don't really know too much else other than that, of course, they're romances, and just that everyone loves these. I think they're just going to be the perfect thing for my week away, and I really do hope that I love them as much as everyone else. If you watched last year my anti-TBR tag, I actually said that I would never read these, but then the more I looked into them, the more I sort of began developing this little bit of interest in them. And then a couple of months ago, I just had a real urge to like really want to read them. Like, my opinion on them has completely flipped, and I think it's just because I'd really written off just the entire romance genre as something that I wouldn't enjoy. But as I've been developing my tastes more and getting back into reading a lot more, I actually think that I really would love these. Although romance isn't typically my thing, I think there's so much else explored in these as well, and I'm not like against all romance. I think I was just sabotaging myself and just not letting myself have a good time by not wanting to pick these up. So I'm so glad that I own them and that I can binge them. I'm so excited, honestly, probably most excited about these than anything else that I'm planning on reading. These were also all lovely gifts from my wonderful friends for my birthday, so I'm really looking forward to getting through some of the gifts that they got me, because I've only read a couple of the books I got for my birthday at this point, although it has only been a month. So this one was from Rhiannon from Welsh Reader, and then these two were from Sylvie from the TBR Diaries and Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots. I'm not sure which was which. Okay, this one was from Aoife, and then this one, yeah, was from Sylvie. So thank you so much again to all my amazing friends for these books, and I can't wait to tell them how much I loved them. The next two books that I want to read also fit together very nicely, because they are both by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and they are The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and then Malibu Rising. So I'm going to read this one first, because I believe that although they're not directly connected, one's not a sequel of the other, there is a character that connects the two stories, and that character obviously would show up first in this one because this is the first book that was written. And I have been meaning to read this book for ages, ever since loving Daisy Jones and the Six. Again, I don't know too much about it other than the obvious, that it's about Evelyn Hugo, and I believe that she picks a fairly unknown reporter to tell her life story. Evelyn was a big Hollywood icon, and I think her life story spans several decades, from the 50s to the 80s, I want to say, or the blurb says that that was when she left show business. And I've just heard such amazing things about that Hollywood glamour and vibe that is evoked in this, and the way that it presents the time periods as well. I thought that was a thing that Taylor Jenkins Reid did amazingly in Daisy Jones. You got the real sense of the time that that book was set, and the tours, and just the lifestyle of being in the band. And I feel that because this one is also sort of celebrity focused, she's going to do an amazing job in this one as well. And I know so many people love this one. I feel like I'm reading so many booktube favourites this month, so I really hope that I love it as well. And then Malibu Rising, I don't actually know too much about. I believe it's set in the 80s, and it centres around a group of siblings who I think are also famous, and there's this big party at their mansion, and then the next morning, like, something's gone wrong. I'm a bit hazy on the details, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing if I get that same vibe in this. Really looking forward to the 80s being portrayed in this one, because I haven't read too many books that are set in the 80s. And also, as everyone who's been hauling this recently is saying, this cover is so pretty, although I really hate this sticker thing that doesn't come off. Like, that is my biggest pet peeve. Also, the end pages are just stunning, and I did pre-order the signed edition of this one, so I'm really happy to now own a signed Taylor Jenkins Reid book. The next thing that's on my June TBR is actually the thing that's been on it for the longest. I put this book aside a couple of months ago to read this month, and now the June is almost here, and I've looked at the other books that I want to read. I can just see it being the one that gets pushed aside again, but that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. It featured in several of my TBRs at the beginning of the year, and then I stopped featuring it because I just wasn't reading it, and because I'd found out that Rhiannon, Rachel and Chloe are doing a read along for this book in June, and I was like, yes, I will take part, I will get it done with a group of people. And now I just don't know, because it's running for 2 weeks from the start of the month. A whole week of that time I'm going to be on holiday, and I just don't think it's a beachy read. I feel like I want to focus on like Chloe Brown and the Taylor Jenkins Reid books, and not really be reading this on the beach. We'll see. I might see how it goes for the first week, and then maybe just like not take it on holiday, and then try and catch up afterwards, and like stick to the same schedule but just a week behind everyone else. I don't know. I'm gonna play it by ear and see how I feel. I don't know, but I thought I would mention it anyway, just in case I do get around to getting to it this month. Then I've got a couple of things that I'm currently partway through, which I guess I probably should have included at the beginning because I have already started these, but oh well, I will just mention them quickly. The first one is 6 Tudor Queens by Alison Weir. Again, this is another reason why I think I might put off A Little Life, because that will definitely be a sort of reading in the background alongside other things sort of book, but so is this, and I thought I would have finished it by the end of the month, but I've been even more slow than I expected with it, and I just don't know if I can have 2 of those books on the go. So if I prioritise A Little Life and this is going to get put off for even longer, I don't know. But I'm about 100 odd pages into this. I haven't actually picked it up for over a week now, but I am really enjoying it and I'm learning a lot from it. It's just very slow. It basically just tells the life story of Anne Boleyn. It starts when she's like 13, so quite a long time before she really gets involved with anything to do with Henry VIII. And I understand why it's all featured, because you know, you want all that context, and there are a lot of things that she did which led her up to being in the position. But at the same time, I'm just wanting to get to that bit. But hopefully by the end of June, I will have made my way through the rest of this, because I do want to carry on with this series. And then the last thing that I'm currently reading, which I will finish in June, is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I'm reading this for a video, and I've read 38 pages so far. It's actually really short, and I am enjoying the writing style more than I thought I would, but it's also sort of using my brain. And on this lovely sunny bank holiday weekend as I'm filming this, I haven't really been wanting to engage that too much, so I haven't picked it up beyond the first time that I sat down and read some of it. But I'm hopeful that once I do decide to sit down with this, I can actually get through it quite quickly, and then I can talk about it more in the video that I'm doing. So those were all of the things that I would love to get to in June. If you've read any of these books, I'd love to know what you thought of them. Let me know in the comments, or just leave me an emoji to let me know that you've watched the video. Other than that though, that is it for today's video. I hope you're all keeping safe and staying well, and I will see you again next time. Bye!